and they are smoked over locally cut wild cherry. So to do this is you have to go out. Now, mullets are special, and this is actually a great example of how environment changes. Mullets historically were a very shy fish and would spook easily, and when people went to net them, they would actually muffle their oarlocks with burlap so they could come up on them. And then with the introduction of outboard motors is that these fish have become more and more acclimated to noise. But they're bottom feeders. Sand mullets or kingfisher, another member of that larger family. And they're very common, and they are one of those fish that we just don't eat anymore. Mackerel is also a fish that we seldom eat. As H.M. Arnold down at Bayford puts, he says, nobody wants a fish anymore unless it's round or square. And there's probably a good deal of truth to that. But these fish, and all these variety of fish, were a very important component, not only of Eastern Shore diets, but from across the bay as well. In fact, there is a poetical description of the Norfolk market that is published, I believe, around 1816 by Elizabeth Ritson, which goes down in some of the, I can't decide if it's really good doggerel or really bad verse, but it goes down and it itemizes all the fish. And among the fish, you just had silver sides. One of the most popular fish in the market were mamachaws, those minnows that we use for flounder fishing. People also would go ahead, and there was a whole ritual to croaker. So that when the croaker ran, is that there would be the first croakers would come into the market to the sound of horns. And they would be carried on horseback in wicker baskets. So this is really speaking to those that big history of fish that we've lost so much of. Now it's served with a wilted greens, and Gus Gustafson here is our ace gardener. Arilia cheers him on, but she doesn't get any credit beyond that. And Gus has been really at the heart of this enterprise, experimenting with different heritage cultivars on the Eastern Shore. These included last year Bene seed, which is a West African sesame that he has grown, which will be in the dessert course. But he has also grown, among other things, Carolina gold rice in his garden. And keeps a number of other things going, white clay peas, Sea Island red peas, and a variety of these other cultivars. One of which we will start this next year, Gus, is the fish.
No tomatoes this year, I'm sorry.
Our fish peppers, which were used for those of you who had the hot sauce outside, the snake oil. That's a pepper varietal that was grown here in the 1800s, was rescued during Reconstruction by the Cornell Extension Service and preserved, and is now slowly being reintroduced. And it was favored in African American cuisines. So that will be served with a rosé, a very lovely rosé. And this was actually the hardest pairing in my imagination, is what do you pair with smoked mackerel and wilted greens? There's not a lot of options there, and all of a sudden, as John will explain, Church Creek Rosé presented itself with elegance and surprise. So surprises, John. Yes.